Week 3, news and notes and trade talk. Let's get to it.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Go buy Alvin Kamara on the cheap. He's a top 5 running back still. People are treating him like a second-round pick. Yeah, Drew Brees going down, not good, but they weren't using him right anyway. And I think between Hill and Bridgewater, they're efficient enough to keep defenses honest and keep defenses from stacking the box. And I think they lean on Kamara until Brees comes back in week 10. And we still have a lot of time, if let's say he plays weeks 11 on, to have Kamara and Brees together in the scoring that we're used to with Kamara. And even if he's near the end zone less until Brees returns, because they don't move the ball as efficiently, they will be efficient enough and lean on Kamara enough that he produces, I think, top 5 running back value. Go trade for him now before the window closes and people see him return to form without Brees in the lineup. Once he returns to form without Brees in the lineup, buying low is over. Go get Deshaun Watson right now. If you missed out on drafting Pat Mahomes, you didn't listen to the advice that we cranked out all offseason long. That was, don't listen to these don't take a QB early regurgitators out there. If you missed out on Pat Mahomes, I have good news. Deshaun Watson is at least the closest thing to Pat Mahomes, a guy that can get you 40 to 44 total TDs on the year. And I think this is the last week we'll be able to buy low on him. Go get him. Do some kind of throw-in upgrade your QB to Watson by throwing in a, Hollywood Brown, one of these rookies that's been popping off, a Mark Andrews. Most likely, if you own Mark Andrews, you didn't draft him to start. You either picked him up in week 1 or you picked him up as your backup, and kudos to you for doing so. But you have a powerful trade piece right now in Mark Andrews, most likely if he's on your roster. Go make use of that and upgrade your QB into a QB that I think can carry you week in and week out, just like Mahomes can. And Watson's the only QB that I think could get even close to Mahomes type numbers. Go get Melvin Gordon right now before we even get close to a comeback or a return or some news that breaks where this guy goes from literally, 4th round, 3rd round type value, flex type value right now. Maybe one of these rookies that we're talking about that just got picked up and are popping off. You can go and trade that player, maybe even give up a little more if you have to, for a Melvin Gordon. The moment Melvin Gordon announces he's coming back or news breaks on him returning in a week, let's say, he goes instantly to top 6 running back value. JuJu Smith-Schuster, buy low. Mike Thomas, buy low. Aaron Rodgers, buy low. If I get asked one more time, hey Smitty, should I pick up so-and-so and start him over Mike Evans, or should I sit Mike Evans or Mike Thomas for this 3rd wide receiver on your team? I'm going to tell you to take a lap. Joe Mixon, James Conner, Leonard Fournette, players that I've been avoiding like the plague in 2019 and screaming from the rooftops. If you own those guys, you're probably looking to deal them now, but the window's closing. It may have already closed. The only option you have is to get crafty, do some 2-for-2 type offers to dilute the risk involved in the one player like Mixon that you're trying to ship off, and go for another player that's undervalued or underperforming that you do believe will bounce back. Mike Thomas, JuJu, maybe Nick Chubb, Aaron Rodgers. If you're hurting at QB, maybe move into a different position. Get creative. Don't just sit there and say, oh, no one's going to take Mixon. You've got to get creative and start doing 2-for-2 type trades. But trade all 3 of those guys before they tank even further. Now let's talk Dynasty. If there's anybody dropping Darrell Henderson out there, go get him, pick him up, stash him on your roster. I can't tell you how many DMs and emails I get on the daily where people are like, Smitty, so I guess we're wrong about this guy. He hasn't gotten a chance yet, and there might be an opportunity this week. Gurley's been banged up. Maybe there isn't an opportunity this week. Maybe Henderson doesn't even hit the field again for 4 or 5 more weeks. Does that change my outlook on the guy's talent? No. Is the situation different than the Rams let on, that they were going to give this guy 9 to 12 touches a game? Yeah, they lied to us again. Surprise, surprise. But all I'm saying is, if you judge Darrell Henderson off of not getting carries, and you actually email me, DM me, and say, Smitty, he looks like garbage, he looks horrible, he's got 1 carry. What are you watching? What are you even watching when you say that to me? Go scoop him up, maybe trade for him on the cheap. I do admit that Malcolm Brown is a bigger part of that offense early on than I anticipated. But this team, this coaching staff does not let us know what's going on. They don't tell us the truth. But pairing the two together is not that difficult. I still do not believe that Todd Gurley will be able to hang all year long. At some point, whether it's Malcolm Brown at first, whether it's Darrell Henderson later, whether it's all Malcolm Brown, the duo, Brown and Hendy together, are not that expensive. And if you stash that duo on your bench, you could be taken care of later tenfold. So that is one strategy to talk about dynasty-wise, because I think that this will be the last year Gurley even looks remotely close to what he looks like right now. And so Hendy and Henderson, I think, are going to be the future of that rushing attack. I do believe it will be Henderson, but pairing them together is a great dynasty move and a great now move for somebody looking at week 10, week 8, week 11, week 12. One of these guys could be starting by then. Darwin Thompson is another player to pick up right now. McCoy's already hurt. Damian Williams is hurt. And Darwin Thompson was one of the craftiest players to draft standalone from that Kansas City backfield. If you scoop him up and wait, you might be rewarded a ton heading into weeks 10, 11, 12, just like I'm talking about with the Rams running backs. Now, in Dynasty especially, go get him on the cheap. Because he hasn't really emerged yet, he probably is cheaper than he should be. Alexander Madison, make sure he's on your team in redraft if you're in a redraft league. Do not let that guy sit on waivers. If Dalvin Cook went down, Alexander Madison wouldn't miss a beat. He'd be at the very least a low-end running back one. Scary Terry McLaurin looks so good. I admit I didn't see this guy coming to the degree he's bringing it. He could be a potential top 10 wide receiver for the future. Deebo Samuel, he's on my bold predictions list for 2019 as a dynasty call, and he looks every bit as good as I anticipated. He was nowhere to be found in week 1. People just completely jump ship like they always do, like they're doing with Darrell Henderson right now. Deebo Samuel is the real deal. He's an Anquan Bolden meets Steve Smith, and I think he's going to be a potential top 10 to 15 wide receiver of the future. Bright futures for McLaurin and Deebo. I can't wait to see these guys evolve. In Dynasty, Hawkinson disappointed people in week 2, coming off a huge week 1 where everybody's ready to anoint him a top 5 tight end. And I believe he does have that potential. But with a bad week in week 2, everybody's talking about starting other tight ends that are much lower in upside over Hawkinson after one bad week. Go trade for him in Dynasty because people are clearly undervaluing him.